making stair railing really isn't that hard. You just need a couple of jigs and you need to know a couple of set lengths. Once you determine what these lengths are, it's relatively easy. So your bottom portion of your rail and your top portion of your rail need to have a set length, and of course the length of your ballast or your little your square tubing. So with mine, once I knew my lengths, and I also had to determine what my angles were, I pre-cut those. So I pre-cut these angles in the top and the bottom of these ballasts. So when I knew that, I already had my distance from my railing, top rail, to my bottom rail. Now, in order to start it, you know, you need to do a little math to figure out what these sizes are. So once you determine what the size is here and the size is here, you know, if properly spaced, all these spaces will be the same. So you can see each one of these spaces are pretty close to the same. You can build some jigs. So the jigs that I've made, to start off with, you can see that they may be a little tight in here because it's been painted, but you can see that this one fits right in there, and this one fits relatively close in there, but the paint's made a little bit smaller. So I start off, I can butt this right up to this top rail, and I can spot weld it in here, and I can just tack it in down here, and it creates this angle at that certain distance from this beginning larger 1-inch rail. So that spacing is done just through some wooden jigs that are cut at the same angle and the same width. And then once you've done that starter, you can do your second one with another jig that's been cut that same size. And if I get it in the right location here. Actually, some adjustment was made on this end, so let's run down to this end. So there, you can see that fits like right in there. So as I worked my way up, I made minor adjustments in order to make sure that total length looked relatively close on the end. So I started my second one with this small jig that I just clamp in place and I tack welded in. Then to keep consistent sizes, I cut some dados in a larger piece at that same angle, so I can just step it down. And you can see that if I move this over, it's got grooves that are cut in it, and it will regulate your spacing between each one of these pieces of tubing. And these slots will need to be cut the same size as the rail ballasters, it's relatively simple to do with a couple of little small cheap jigs, and you get relatively professional results. I mean, depending on your welding skills, but it's a pretty simple process.